7 of the FIA World Endurance Championship, and the circuit is of course at the foot of Mount Fuji with this beautiful backdrop behind us. So as I have a moment of zen, the drivers are fully focused on the task ahead.
It's now too wet for the wet tyre. This is the right tyre for the full wet, but the full wet we've got on is too used. It's like we were wrong this morning and we're wrong. We're right, but we're wrong now. You know what I mean? Very good, very good. Thanks. Ignition on. Too much aquaplaning.
It is a very tricky track for the setup of the car because you have a long straight and a very fast sector 2, but the sector 3 is very slow and twisty, so you need to have a good compromise for the downforce level and the mechanical setup.
The straight is we don't need actually set up too much. Just we need to focus on slow corner, I think, which is the most key on this track. So just so we have to manage it. And last year I think we managed really good. So I think I got pretty confident.
There's no car turn, so there's a lot of standing water.
We ran on a lower downforce setting level, so it becomes quite technical to drive as well and challenging for the engineers. So quite interesting races always happening here, and hopefully it will be like that on Sunday too.
Take a closer look at what they have to deal with, and Alan, it really is a closer look because we're almost touching them here at the hairpin.
Yeah, I know. You come out of 100R up over the top of the hill and then cresting into here. It's a tricky section of circuit. This is the old school part of the track, and as you can see as well, it's very, very cambered, and so therefore you use the camber when it's flowing with you to help you into the corner. But then in the exit, as you're trying to get the power down and accelerate down the second longest straight on the circuit, then it flattens out, and so you've got brake lock issues coming into the corner, and you've got traction issues going out of the corner. Well, usually when you come into the corner, you can see Mount Fuji in the distance. It's a beautiful sight. However, today you can't see it because it's fog and rain, and that's one of the problems that you're going to have to encounter. It's difficult here as well to predict it. From the driver's point of view, it's very difficult because we're on a hillside, the water runs off it, and you tend to find it's not sort of singular puddles you get, it's big rivers running across the circuit, because those are in particular points where the car's loaded because you're cornering, and it's very easy to get aquaplaning. Right now we're not at that level, but we've found out from history here in Fuji the difference between wet and torrential is about maybe 5 seconds.
Ask any driver about racing in Japan, and one of the very first things they will talk about is the fans. Racing here is dedicated to the passionate Japanese fans. The teams are involved, and the fans repay that involvement with their adoration. They are some of the most knowledgeable motorsport fans on the planet. And here at Fuji in 2017, the World Endurance Championship took them even closer to their heroes than ever before. At the beginning of free practice 3, some lucky fans got to go on the Circuit Safari, a World Endurance Championship first here in Fuji, mingling with the cars at closer quarters than ever before.
It's amazing. So exciting. Good.
めちゃかっこいいです。すごい初めて見たんですけど、 すごく速くてびっくりしました。
Despite the weather, the autograph session was packed, and for many drivers returning to Japan, a lot of the fans are very familiar faces. In the fan areas too, a chance to meet their heroes at close quarters.
I think the level of the knowledge of the Japanese fans are really high. They want to understand more about the racing rather than just watching the race and having fun. So they're really into motorsport, and I think the people who come to see this race, many of them are the true fans. For them, I think it's more special to see the foreign drivers because they only race here once a year. I race here maybe 5 times a year, so maybe they're a little bit bored about me.
Patrick Dempsey and the rest of the crews assembled on a wet grid. It was clear that the weather was going to be a topic of conversation throughout the day. But how much would it affect the Fuji 6 hours? Whatever else, it wasn't going to dampen anybody's enthusiasm. Among the great and the good on the grid, a legend of Japanese endurance.
Fuji Speedway is a very special endurance race circuit. There's a lot of history, and but today is a kind of weather, but everybody is so exciting. Toyota, Porsche, and another group, 2 car and the GT car. Everything is very exciting.
Proton Dempsey Racing team boss and ex-racer himself, Patrick Dempsey, was on hand here in Fuji to watch the action, and with good reason.
Well, I have a rather lovely umbrella boy today, don't
How
I?
are you?
Patrick, it's lovely to see you here. You're not racing anymore, but you're still actively involved with the team.
Oh, yes. I mean, I love this sport. I love this series. It's been a phenomenal year, I think, across the board as a fan. The competition in every category, we were talking before we went on air, it's been really exciting. And to be here in Japan is very special, and I'm grateful I'm not in the car. It's going to be very challenging today, but it's great to be here.
And we see different livery on the car today. We know it's for breast cancer awareness. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you got involved?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, my mother passed away from cancer. It's almost everyone you know has been impacted by cancer. I started a foundation, a wellness center in my hometown of Maine called the Dempsey Center, where we treat the person, not the disease. And we try to empower them and allow them to have as much dignity and support as possible. And the support we've had with the WC has been incredible this weekend, and we thank you very much for that.
Getting down to business with the cars assembled and ready to roll on the GTE Am pole, a great qualifying run from the Clearwater Racing Ferrari. Wang Sung Mok with Matt Griffin and local hero Keita. On the GTE Pro Class pole, the 91 Porsche for the first time, Fred Makovici and Richard Leeds.
To be honest, the outlap was acceptable. The amount of water is drivable, and aquaplan and the hydro was okay. Just the visibility, first corner with the fog, not so good, and behind the cars with the spray. very difficult to see something, and also the prototype in front of us, if they decide to brake, their car brakes a lot better than a GT car, so if we don't see the board and we are looking to the lights from them, it's too late when we start to brake. Therefore, this is a little bit dangerous. Also now it started to rain harder, so I trust Eduardo that he will take the right decision.
It was a grid full of firsts, a first pole of the season for the Vile Rebellion number 13 machine, topping the LMP2 class. Nelson Piquet claiming his first ever World Endurance pole. In the wet conditions for Saturday's qualifying, Toyota had been outpaced by their rivals, but the hometown heroes have plenty of experience of weather here at Fuji. Could they make it pay?
You know, it can be like this here in Fuji. We've seen it in the past. I've done 2 races in my career here, 2007 in Formula 1 and 2013 in the WEC. And both times it's been pretty terrible conditions. And yeah, you know, we'll try and put on a show today and see if we can take the fight to Porsche in the meantime. And yeah, but see, you know, it's all about survival in these conditions, really.
Starting on pole position, the championship leading at number 2 Porsche, Kiwis Earl Bamber and Brendan Hartley with Timo Bernhardt.
Well, final moments, we're having to move out of the way for the team as they make the final preparations before the start of the race. Timo, none of us know what to expect, do we?
Yeah, no, I just spoke to Yannick, a good one. Just spoke to Yannick Dalma, who's driving the safety car. He said it will be a safety car start, but he doesn't know how many laps because the rain is intense and the intensity is rising again, and there's quite a lot of water on track. But we have to see. I think it's something we have to deal throughout the whole race with.
What's your biggest concern out there? Is it the rainfall or is it the spray, or I know it's visibility, of course.
I think visibility is top priority because we see there was a lot of fog developing throughout the day, so I think this will be worse at the end of the race or middle of the race. But also the water, there are certain spots and certain corners like corner 2, 5, 6, 8 where there's just rivers running across the road, and this will be also critical things. And the spray, I think, the spray staying on the long straight. We have the longest straight in the calendar. We arrive with 300k at the end. And still, I mean, with the spray, it's very hard to see. So it will be quite a challenging day for us, I feel.
Under 30 seconds to start the race behind the safety car.
At the allotted start time of 11 a.m. under heavy rain, the field was green flagged. The race was underway, but they were behind the safety car. It's one thing to have the view of driver's advisor Yannick Dalmas solo in the safety car, but once the field is rolling and the water is thrown up in the air, it's absolutely vital that the race director gets a feel for conditions. And from that, he relies on the cameras, on the marshals, but also on the drivers. He'll be listening intently to team radio traffic. It does look as though it might be survivable almost from the very start of the race, though. Field streaming down the straight, eager to be released.
You can't see down the straight, zero visibility.
Copy that, Sam. Copy that. Full visibility. Full visibility.
That's doing 120 kilometers an hour, so when we're doing 250, it will be a big problem.
The safety car is still going to do one more lap.
Okay, Sebastian, try to saturate battery to warm up the brakes. There will be one more lap behind safety car.
Well, good news for everybody, a positive decision. It seems we're about to go racing after 4 laps of the safety car and the slow zone being initiated down the 1.5 kilometre front straight. So as they go out from behind the safety car, they are under yellow flag conditions, limited to 80 kilometres an hour until they exit turn 1. You can see the LMP pole sitter weaving furiously in the middle of the picture. That's Nelson Piquet Jr. alongside him Bruno Senna. And now we get to go. The number 2 Porsche heads the charge down the hill. Toyota need to get on with this, and the number 8 car immediately is trying to do so in a spinner behind. And that's Piquet. The LMP2 pole sitter on the outside goes around, no contact. He lost it on his own. So number 2 Porsche leads from the number 1 car. Number 8, the only championship challenger left for number 2. And look at this, Sebastian Buemi in the Toyota with a really tight line, trying to take the battle to Andre Lotterer in Porsche number 1, trying to find a way to squeeze through. Who's got traction here? You can see the tail of the Porsche wagging. The Toyota's almost alongside. Buemi really needs to get to grips with car number 2. Can't be spending time battling with the number 1 car if he can avoid it. Well, all of the cars now, the first full speed lap, trying to get heat into the brakes and tyres on the formation laps, but now who's done the better job? Buemi on the inside again into the tight closing section of the lap, and he's through into second. No, he's not. Contact. Bit flies off one of the cars. Buemi's got a big problem. Has he got a puncture? Let's take a look again. I think it's a bit of Porsche dive plane, and Buemi, the Toyota, snaking wildly. Oh, that's because he got on the curbs there after the contact, trying to hold the car tight on its line. So has he got a puncture, or did he get away? I think he's got away with that. And around the outside, the number 7 car, Kamui Kobayashi being brave as well. Outside, inside, he's going to come back underneath onto the front straight, which is now green. Across the line, race leader Earl Bamber. Second place, Sebastian Buemi. Third place already, Kamui Kobayashi. The number 1 Porsche is down in 4th. Has the contact given Andre Lotterer a problem in that car? Lotterer down to the back of the LMP1 queue, and somewhere back in the spray, look how far behind they've left LMP2. Bruno Senna still leading LMP2 in the rebellion. There he is. In second place, the number 37 Jackie Chan DC racing car. The final rebellion has got a leap forward. 38 Jackie Chan car in third, then G-Drive and Senior Tech Alpine, who didn't qualify well. Battle for second in the Gte Pro Class. Harry Tincknell's Ford ahead of Michael Christensen's Porsche, and the other Chip Ganassi Racing Ford of Stefan Mucker in 4th place. And the pole-sitting Porsche of Richard Leitz has jumped away. This is the GTE AM class battle. Aston Martin know they're up against it here. The rear engine of the Porsche should help the 77 car here. The Dempsey Proton car with its gorgeous pink livery for the weekend. Christian Reed battling hard though. The Aston Martin sweeps around the outside. 2 drivers with plenty of Japanese experience here in the G-Drive for the first time this season. The orange 26 car, James Rossiter, Nico Lapierre in the Senior Tech Alpine. Qualified 4th but got shuffled back a little at the start. Now back up into 4th position ahead of the G-Drive car, but Rossiter doesn't want to give this one up. His first World Endurance start of the season. He's had a lot of time racing in Japan in single-seaters and GT cars, and he gets back in front, and now Lapierre uses the slingshot onto the straight. Rossiter tucks into the slipstream, but at some stage he's going to have to pop out. There he goes. Needs to know where he is at approaching 170 miles an hour. You can't be sailing blind down this 1.5 kilometre long straight. Bruno Senna cantering away from the rest of the field. With traction so limited for these cars, it's going to be some great battling. Here's a battle for 3rd place in the Gte Pro Class, Michael Christensen's Porsche, and around the outside, Alessandro Pierguidi. In these wet weather conditions, almost any line is as good as any other. Round the outside, up the inside, it's whatever you can make work. The Ferrari didn't get its nose in front. It seems that even though the new 911 has the engine moved closer to the driver, more amidships, it's still got fabulous wet weather traction. Here comes the Ferrari then. Alessandro Pierguidi looking to the inside. Is he going to send it down into turn one? He doesn't need to. The Porsche outbrakes itself, and Pierguidi on the curbs. Does that work? Somehow it does. He just takes the line away, and through he goes into third. Look at this, the Porsche out the long way round on the acknowledged wet weather line. Alessandro Pierguidi, 2 wheels on the curb. How did he find traction? 37, Jackie Chan DC racing car in second place. Here comes Lapierre in third in the blue Senior Tech Alpine, straight through on the inside. He gets by the 37 car of Alex Brundle. Now, is that a done deal? Oh no, hang on, it looks like the G-Drive battle all over again. Brundle doesn't want to give this one away. It's still really treacherously slippery, and Lapierre using the wide line. Brundle cuts across on the inside, can't find the traction. Wait, what's going to happen on the straight? Well, here comes the Toyota, headlights ablaze, that's the number 8 car. Looks as though Senior Tech have worked hard and got a better race setup than they had for qualifying.
Honestly, the car's been incredible so far, that what we can see. The team's made an incredible step up. We worked really hard last night trying to get the car dialed in. And as we can see, Nico's doing an incredible job.
Gentlemen, visibility is dropping. Visibility is dropping from start-finish line all the way down to T3. I'm seriously considering inputting all that area under yellow flags.
It's not heavy rain that's the issue here, it's the fog, the clouds rolling down from the mountain. So yellow flags out on the start-finish straight, and here comes the battle between the number 7 Toyota in third and Andre Lotterer, and you've got to get it done before you get to the end of the straight, because you can't pass into turn one. Sweeping around the Aston Martin, the Porsche on the inside. Has he got the traction? Yes, he has, but look, the Toyota's coming back at him. Hybrid boost and four-wheel drive traction off the corner as they disappear into the increasing gloom. The Toyota number 7 with its nose back in front. Can Lotterer release the boost? No. Now they're into the yellow flag zone. No overtaking, and the Porsche will have to wait his turn until they get down to the big looping right-hander at 100R. Even if he gets a better run through the corner, he may not pass, and that gives the Toyota respite. How will this race pan out? Whatever else is clear, the weather is going to be a factor. Now they're free to race, and Lotterer tries to get underneath the Toyota. Oh, traffic in front. Which way are they going to go? Either side of Francesco Castellacci, who disappears in the wall of spray as if 2 monster trucks have just gone by. But Lotterer seeming to find more traction now. Is the track a little drier than earlier in the race, or has he just worked out how to keep the heat in the tyres? Toyota seems to switch its tyres on earlier at lower track temperature, and the Porsches have been struggling a little for grip. At least Lotterer has. Number 2 car still leads, but Lotterer around the outside of Kobayashi into third. Yes, just for the moment, through he goes, but Kobayashi again comes back, and how they each deploy their traction from the hybrid drive is basically deciding who's where. Onto the straight once more, pick a headlight. There is the Porsche on the left of the picture, and just behind the Toyota has to tuck in this time. He's down to 4th. Second in GTE Am, Francesco Castellacci in that silver Ferrari. He just had nowhere to go. Race leader is Earl Bamber. Championship leader is Earl Bamber. Earl Bamber, the first time he's been part of the driving lineup in a car that's claimed pole position. He started on pole and still leads the race. 9.2 seconds ahead of Sebastian Buemi. Andre Lotterer in third in the number 1 Porsche. Racing drivers have a habit of making this stuff look easy, but put yourself in the passenger seat of Kamui Kobayashi's Toyota. 1.5 kilometers away is the first corner. We're going to reach there at over 170 miles an hour. Where exactly is it? using peripheral vision. He's judged it perfectly. Sweeps out wide all the way around the outside of the corner where there's no oil and rubber down. Better grip there. Downhill, steeply through turn 2, left into turn 3. Cannot even see the apex of the corner as he turns in. Down into 100R. Flat in top gear in the drive, but listen. And now he can start to pick up the throttle again. Battle for second place in the Gte Pro Class. Harry Tincknell, the championship leader since the first race of the season, with Andy Preo in the 67 Ford, and right behind Alessandro Pierguidi. But look at this view of the front straight. Even with headlights on, it's impossible to see where the cars are. Surely we've got to be getting into a safety car situation. There is Tincknell and Pierguidi behind him. Safety car is out with just under an hour of the race run. Visibility is terrible. Look at the picture there on the right-hand side, the weather radar, the little map of the Fuji circuit, the big black block, that was Mount Fuji, and the weather rolls around it. Safety car out, approaching the end of the first hour and the first round of LMP1 pit stops. And it's so intense for the drivers, they're going to take the opportunity to put in a fresh set of eyes and a calmer set of nerves. In gets Kazuki Nakajima for Sebastian Buemi. Number 2 Porsche and number 1 Porsche stay out. Toyota going with fresh wets, unlimited numbers of wet weather tyres, you're not restricted. That's really a safety concern here. Pit lane full of cars. Number 1 Porsche in from second place. Andrea Lotter gets out, and in gets Neil Jani. They'll be able to change the nose on the car as well to replace that dive plane. Give Neil Jani perfect front aero. There they go. After that impact right at the start of the race.
Yeah, I was struggling. I didn't know that I lost the flick, so obviously that's quite some amount of downforce, which you need in the rain. So at the beginning I was struggling, and then I found a way to get some more temperatures in the tires, and I could catch back. And then it was the safety car because we couldn't see anymore or anything.
Red flags. The race director's seen enough. An hour and 20 minutes into the race. Cars will return to the grid. The race is not over. It's only been suspended. But safety must be everybody's prime concern in these conditions.
That's always a very difficult situation because you want to make sure that the race happens, but the official has to take the right decision, and the first concern is about the safety of the drivers. So the reason why the race director decided to put the red flag a few minutes ago was essentially a question of visibility due to the fogs. And now apparently the fog is starting to disappear, so we are working very close in contact with the forecast weather department with us. And the race director, as soon as he will consider that all the right conditions are again accessible for everybody, he will warning the team 10 minutes before and to say that you have to be ready to go there.
Down the pit lane comes Earl Bamber in the number 2 Porsche. He's not alone. A GT field sweeping in behind him as well, including the 67 Ford Championship leader. But it is the race leader, the points leader in LMP1, who is in the pit lane, and that means that the Ford of Stefan Mucker leads the race 80 kilometers an hour in the main straight slowdown. And then as they get out of turn 1, they will go green, and you see the spray rising immediately. Stefan Mucker gets on the loud pedal because right behind him is the Ferrari of Alessandro Pierguidi, and that is a battle for position. Mucker yet to stop, Pierguidi has. Also stopped is the number 31 Rebellion, but that is still the LMP2 leader, and Bruno Senna didn't get out. There were driver changes though for Toyota. Kazuki Nakajima we saw getting into the number 8 car, and of course the field is all still jumping up as they were racing when the red flag came out. They weren't re-gridded in their class order. Ollie Jarvis in the black and white Jackie Chan DC racing car, and through has gone Nico Lapierre. Lapierre stayed in the 36 Signatech Alpine, and that's often a good idea when conditions are really poor. Give the driver that knows the car fresh tyres and send him back out again if his nerves will stand it, and I think Lapierre's are at the moment. He's got a car that he feels he can race with. I think Ferrari did the same with Alessandro Pierguidi. He stayed in during their first pit stop in that red car. Sam Bird looking intently as his sister car attacks the Ford for the lead. Stefan Mucker has stayed in the Ford, yet to stop, and holds on to the lead in the GTE Pro Class. And a lot of teams stopped under the yellow flag and the safety car because they could, not because they needed fuel. So the Ferrari's got more fuel, but fresher tyres, but Pierguidi drifts out wide. And here comes Nico Lapierre from behind in the LMP2 car. So this is going to interrupt the battle a little. He's going to try and dive to the inside of the Ferrari. Through he'll go. Oh, no, he doesn't. And Alessandro Pierguidi in second place, drifts out wide. And that's the old circuit. So he has to zigzag through the barriers. The new modern little loop that they now go through, introduced a few years ago to bring it up to full Grand Prix length of 4.5 kilometres. Takes away some of the speed in the closing stages of the Fuji lap. Stefan Mucker in the Ford then. Still in front of Pierguidi again, understeers desperately wide. Oh, and running out wide there, one of the Manor cars. That's the number 24 machine of Ben Hanley going around Ollie Jarvis. So Jarvis in that 38 car struggling for grip with the Jackie Chan DC racing machine. They're behind Stefan Mucker and the Ferrari of Alessandro Pierguidi. Take a look again. Is there a touch? Oh, the tiniest of touches there. There's almost room for Hanley to get through. Luckily, it seems no damage done to either car. I don't think there was even bits missing. Here comes Ben Hanley up the inside. Again, out wide on the racing line. There's a little less grip when you're on the normal line because there's rubber on top of the tarmac. Good in the dry, bad in the wet. Down into the first corner, Michael Christensen in the Porsche. Inside, Alessandro Pierguidi. Pierguidi now, well, was the GTE Pro leader as Stefan Mucker's just stopped for his first pit stop. But now into the lead has gone the Porsche. So still that rear engine Porsche traction is very much a factor. Down into the first corner, watch this, Timo Bernhardt. Wheels on the paint. Watch this as he gets on the curbs. Well, he's already locked up, but he sails off into the big tarmac runoff area. No damage done, but he is clearly struggling for grip.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good stint. We had a strong car, managed to pull a nice gap, and the conditions were quite bad. It was the right call to red flag at the time. But yeah, from there we lost big time. So now we're almost one lap behind, so now we have to fight. So that's a bit of a shame. But anyway, we'll fight back. Won't give up, and we can still come back on the podium, that's for sure.
Nico Lapierre in the second placed LMP2 Signatech Alpine. 2 wheels on the grass and around he goes, trying to chase down leader Bruno Senna. No damage done for Lapierre in terms of mechanical damage, but he had been closing the gap to Senna, and that's cost him over 10 seconds, that spin alone.
Kazuki, for your info, in front of you, Porsche number 2 is currently 3 seconds a lap slower. If we can close the gap to him and overtake, will be good.
The number 2 Porsche struggling for grip and goes a lap down. Kazuki Nakajima laps the championship leader in the only car that can challenge them for the title. This could be very important for Toyota now. They really must hope this race goes full distance. Safety car. 3 hours and 40 minutes remaining. There is race control. It's going to be a long day for them and for the stewards.
In X-ray 1, big -2 clicks in X-ray 1. Getting more water, more and more. Copy deal, service. Okay, so Timo, biggest time loss area is turn 4, 5. You made improvements turn 16 and you could match it when there was clear and no mistakes. So turn 16 was definitely improving, you found the right way. Just turn 4, 5. Yeah, copy. I have a lot of steps going into 4, I'm not trusted all in the rear.
Clearly the number 2 Porsche struggling for grip. Kazuki Nakajima leads LMP1. Bruno Senna still in charge of LMP2. Porsche and Ferrari, the leaders in the GTE classes. Clearing the way for the number 7 Toyota. In comes Jose Maria Lopez. We believe that he has got a problem. They are ready with a new steering wheel. Almost everything in the car is controlled by the steering wheel. It's supposed to be 100% waterproof, but it looks like the water ingress is an issue. Nick Tandy aboard the number 1 car, and a whole host coming in behind the safety car now. The pit lane is open. Number 8 Toyota stays out. And refitting the steering wheel is not the end of it. They'll have to reboot the entire electronic system in the number 7 Toyota, so that will lose a little bit of ground. Is that the bad luck that takes them out of the hunt? Tandy back out in a podium position in the number 1 car. He moves up into second place as the number 7 Toyota is ready to go. Jose Maria Lopez back into the hunt. Safety car pulls off, and again the slow zone from turn 15 all the way down this straight to the exit of turn 1. You can see that visibility is still fairly limited. Without the wall of spray, at least they have a chance. Nico Lapierre out of the second placed LMP2 car, and this looks like a lap too late. They've come in to hand over to Andre Negrão. As the rest of the field goes green, they will lose time to their rivals. There is the Vinyl Rebellion that leads in LMP2, still Bruno Senna, ahead of Ben Hanley. Well, because of the red flag, none of the drivers at the moment are in danger of running over their maximum drive time. But some of the gentleman drivers may struggle to do their minimum time. In the murk, where's the track in front of us? We're with the number 2 Porsche, and you can see why lapping slower GT cars is so hard. You've got to be able to see, you know where the track goes, but being able to place the car to the millimetre does require at least some visibility. There is the 54 Ferrari in the AM class, got a nudge from the Ford, that was clumsy. Andy Priaulx in the 67 car, looks like they both got away with that. Take a look again in replay. Oh, well, that was 6 1, half a dozen the other. Ferrari tried to make it into the corner. Ford was already there. That Ford has already had a stop-and-go penalty for leaving the pit lane where the red light was on, and off goes the Toyota. Jose Maria Lopez says he's still got problems with the electronics, or was that just driver error in the poor conditions? This is not going to dry out, is it? Lopez, like everybody else, struggling for visibility and grip. You could see there was a wall of spray from the Ferrari in front, just enough to reduce that visible line. Jose Maria Lopez with the bit between his teeth in the number 7 Toyota goes around the outside of Ben Hanley's orange Manor as he hunts down Nick Tandy in the number 1 Porsche. Lopez in for over 100 minutes, Tandy 25. They stopped last time at the same time. As the track gets wetter and wetter, the balance of power is swinging towards Toyota now. Where's the Porsche gone? Those high intensity rear lights just vanish in the gloom. There is Tandy still in second, but Lopez is catching with every single lap. It can't be long surely before we're back to a Toyota Won Two. Porsche struggling here. Toyota have not won since May. Porsche won at Le Mans and have won every race since, 4 in a row. Number 8 Toyota into the pits at the midway point of the race. Number 1 Porsche still battling with Jose Maria Lopez. Nick Tandy goes into the lead temporarily, and Lopez drifts out wide again at turn 1. That's his nemesis, isn't it? He's been off there a few times. Look again in the spray, maybe just avoiding the back end of Tandy's car. I think he might have closed a little faster than he thought. Midway through the 6 Hours of Fuji, and thanks to that long stop for the Toyota, the number 1 Porsche still in front. TDS Racing coming from the back of LMP2 to the front as their pit stop strategy unfolds. In the GTE Pro Class, it's Ferrari Won Two ahead of the best of the Porsches, the 92 car. And in the GTE AM class, it's also a Ferrari Won Two. Pole sitters Clearwater Racing, the only pole sitters still leading their category, ahead of Spirit of Race. Field release from behind the safety car again as the visibility improves noticeably. Slow zone down the front straight and everybody trying to get heat into their tyres. What's going on there? Jean-Eric Verne in the Manor and alongside him Matthias Besch in the number 13 Rebellion. Out of turn 1, Nick Tandy as they drop down into turn 2, they're out of the slow zone and they go green, and look, you could almost see the second that Tandy hit the throttle as the car stepped out sideways on him. That's hugely dramatic. Toyota second and third, but Porsche still leading the number 2 car a lap down. Oh, trouble behind, and that's a Rebellion, and that's Matthias Besch, and that car is wrecked. The rear end is destroyed. Backwards into the barriers, there's debris everywhere. Surely this is going to have to be a safety car. What happens? He got tangled up with Jean-Eric Verne, trying to get round the Aston Martin in front. Besch chinked right. I don't think he saw that Verne was there. Safety car is out, no surprise. We're selecting gears to try and get the car to move, but that left rear wheel is never going to drive. Matthias Besch back to the pits on foot. That way, round the corner, up the hill, mate, off you go. Going back to green after clear up from the Matthias Besch accident. Nick Tandy still leading the race, Toyota still second and third. Nakajima in the number 8 car in third place, pulling out of the spray. Oh my goodness! So close to teammate Jose Maria Lopez, that was almost disaster. That could have taken both Toyotas out of the race, but look at Lopez cutting down on the inside and taking the lead away from Nick Tandy. So Lopez goes through, the 3-time World Touring Car Champion, his first year as a World Endurance racer. He's raced in Japan before but never been to Fuji, but he is making a really good fist of this. A lot of seat time for him in the race, and through goes Nakajima into second. Toyota Won Two, Porsche struggling in the rain. Porsche Won Two in the Gte Pro Class. There is your leader, Kevin Estre. Right behind him, Andy Priaulx, a lap down in the 67 Ford. And through comes the Rebellion that leads in LMP2. Oh, Priaulx contact with the Porsche, getting in too hot. They bump and bounce, and a change of lead. There goes the other 91 Porsche, the pole sitter. Fred Makovicky gets by his teammate. Priaulx's got by one Porsche, but is still a lap down. And there's the third place Ferrari. James Collado at the wheel, and his teammate right behind, Davide Rigon, trying to go around the outside of the Porsche in the back of the shot. Look, there they are, side by side, Collado and Estre. And here is our new leader in the Porsche. Andy Priaulx still trying to unlap himself. There's James Collado in 51. Through has gone Rigon. So the Porsche has lost ground as well. And Andy Priaulx, the points leader in the 67 Ford, trying to find his way by. There goes Kevin Estre, creeping back past Davide Rigon in the 71 Ferrari as they head into the murk on the front straight. Rigon's going to have to pull out of the spray soon because there is a corner approaching at very high speed. Somewhere in there. Wow, and somebody's gone by in an LMP2 car as well, and off has gone Priaulx. That's the Ford, backwards into the gravel trap. Hit the barriers with the nose, taking the rear wing off. What a disaster for the 67 Ford. What happens? Into the braking area, just turns sharp left into the barriers, and that's got to be some kind of mechanical failure, maybe from contact with the Porsche half a lap ago. Battle for the lead in the Gte Pro Class, and James Collado in front of the Porsche of Fred Makovicky. 2 green lights on the side means in the last sector he was second in class. So where did that change? Makovicky just drifting out a little wide, but where's Collado finding the grip? Tight on the inside line. Oh, slides it across, beautifully done. Battle for second in LMP2. Hopin Tung, the black and white Jackie Chan DC Racing car, drifts a little wide. Through comes Andre Negrão, and he moves up into second place. Now here comes Ho around the outside. Fantastic wheel-to-wheel action in these LMP2 cars. Not enough downforce, not enough speed to give them the grip. Oh, look at that. The Jackie Chan car sliding off the corner. Well, Cinetek won last time out in the heat of Austin, but it is Nico Prost for Violent Rebellion that leads comfortably here. Battle for second goes inside Nico Prost and outside the 77 Dempsey Proton AM Class Porsche. And the Toyota under real pressure now. Miljani hanging on as the number one Porsche finds some heat in the tyres. Safety car being scrambled with an hour and 40 minutes to go. Number 8 Toyota still leading the race. It is a Toyota Won Two. And there's a big yellow flag zone down at the first corner. The fog has descended once more. There is the safety car driver. Bruno Kuchera picks up the race leader, I think. Yes, he does. Number 8 Toyota right behind him, but the clouds are now back down at ground level. Visibility is 0.
Red flag, gentlemen, red flag.
90 minutes of the race remain as we bring the field back to the grid. Number 2 car comes into the pit lane, and all we can do now is wait and hope that the clouds roll away to get more racing here in Fuji. It will be a long, frustrating time for the drivers.
Cars will leave the grid at 50 and go straight to Parc Fermé. The race is not being resumed. The race is not being resumed.
A damp end to the race, but full points and victory go to Toyota number 8 at the most critical stage of the season. Their championship hopes are reignited.
We were quite competitive from the start. The Porsche number one was very good, but then the race changed a little bit, and with more water, it looked like we were even better. So Kazuki really deserves it. He's done a great job. He spent many hours in the car, so really happy for the entire team, everyone that are working on the car here and also on the engine, not far from here. So it's an amazing result.
In LMP2, the 31 Violent Rebellion never looked like losing, leading from the first corner to the last, with the exception of their pit stops. A triumphant return to the top step of the podium. Jackie Chan DC Racing's number 38 car ended up in third place, Cinetek Alpine taking second. The 31 car's victory was rarely in doubt.
Today was a bit of a gamble, to be honest, because with the fog you never knew when it was coming. So I mean, I was just saying, yeah, there's going to be a safety car maybe or something to play with it, but the guys, they did a really good job on the wall, to be honest, and we kept the car on track.
What a week for James Collado. Early hours of Tuesday morning, his first child, his daughter Aurelia, was born. And now, victory in the Gte Pro Class with one of the moves of the race sliding in front of Fred Makavicki's Porsche just before the red flag. And that victory moves them to the top of the drivers' standings. Ferrari leading the manufacturer's points chase in Gte Pro as well.
We were lucky, but we also won on speed. We had the fastest car, I think, with the best, lineup team to do the job, and we really won it on merit as well. So amazing job, and leading the championship, and we go to China with with our heads reset and ready to do something similar.
In the GTE AM class, it was always a Ferrari battle between the pole sitters Clearwater and their rivals Spirit of Race, and it was the 54 team that came up with their first ever World Championship win. Clearwater in second and Dempsey Proton in third.
It's the first win in WEC, first season. I mean, I cannot be more proud of the team. Ferrari did a great job. Francesco, Miguel, everybody. So I'm so happy. So we're finally up there in the first place.
It's been a long, winless summer for Toyota, but their astonishing record in Fuji continues. Their 5th win in 6 World Endurance Championship races here. This time the number 8 combination, Sebastian Buemi, Anthony Davidson and Kazuki Nakajima lead a Toyota Won Two, and they keep the championship alive. Confirmation, the Toyota Won Two at the end of a topsy-turvy 6 hours of Fuji. Vile Rebellion's 31 car never really looked like losing in the LMP2 battle. A of Course's 51 Duo claim the win and the points lead in GTE Pro. And Spirit of Race, their first win in World Endurance in the GTE AM class. Just 2 cars failed to finish despite the weather. A vital morale-boosting win for Toyota at home in Fuji to keep the title races alive.
You are 1-2-6. Congratulations.
We head in 3 weeks' time to the penultimate round of the championship in Shanghai in China, where they will need to win again.
Come into the pits.
You're doing good.
6 hours of Shanghai. The spirit of Le Mans is coming to Shanghai.